think it's working. So listen to me coughing. The reason why I didn't come on last week is because I was ill. But I had a test and it was negative, which is good. Yeah. And I've still got a stupid cough sometimes. So, but I'm all right. I'm alive and kicking. So good morning, everybody. Facebook world, YouTube world in general. Suzana, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh, so good to see your face. It's been
writing down an idea I just had earlier.
Yeah, write down. Do you know what? My brain, I'm just going to go with it, go with the flow, because I don't know. I'm just kind of like, let's see what comes through me. But so today we are talking about letting go, different challenges that we're facing, different emotions that we're facing, everything that we're going through at the moment that we can't control, maybe looking at letting go of the things that we can't control and focusing on the things that we can control. So like for me, my getting ill last week, the more I was focusing on that, the more ill I felt. And
yeah,
and
I know what you mean. Yes.
Because the thing is, we're surrounded at the moment by flipping illness and things that we can't control, and an invisible virus that is out there and hurting people, because I know a few people that have got it and are badly in hospital, but it's nothing that we can actually control. And as soon as it seeps into your own little world, that's where the focus becomes as well. It gets even more difficult. Alongside all the challenges I have today of people walking in and out and my doorbell's going off and stuff. So please bear with me. Yeah, so I realised I got my test and it was negative. And it's, you know what it is? It's not about me. It was about the fact that I was worried about my parents, because it's Christmas. And, you know, it's a time where we all want to spend it together. But I don't want to put them on undue risk for something that I could have or carry. And the thing is, I truly believe I had it in March. And this was before all the symptoms came out with this lack of taste and smell, because in March, that was my main symptom that I had at the beginning. And I had a fever and I had the cough and I had everything. Well, I don't know about immune, because it was like so long ago. They don't even know about immunity. They don't
know anything about anything.
Oh, I know. This is the thing. No one knows anything. And we're living in a world that is so full of fear at the moment.
Yeah.
And that to me is what is oh, you're falling over. Are you drunk, Suzana?
It's my board.
That's all right.
You talked about fear and all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like, so yeah, we are in this flipping world that's surrounded in fear at the moment, and we don't want our loved ones or families or our friends or people that we care about to be affected in any way. And the point is that we don't know how it's going to affect these people. They could be absolutely fine. There's 92-year-olds that have had this and are absolutely fine. And there are 40-year-olds that have got this in a flipping oxygen tank and that are dying. But there's other knock-on effects, obviously, that people are dying as well because they haven't had their treatments. And this is one big flipping mess.
It is.
But the point is, what can we actually do about it? Because if we live in this world of fear, we become part of the problem as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a negative drain on life, on everything. And we need to let it go because we can't control it. And we need to focus on what we can control. Yeah. And things in our lives that we can do, that we feel like trusting ourselves that we're doing the right thing. And just becoming the flow. And it's easy to say, but not so easy to do. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Susie, what's your take on this?
Well, you know, in Aryuveda, you know, we function with the principle that like increases like, and opposites heal each other. And of course, in Aryuveda, when we want to treat an imbalance, because organism that is suffering now and it's completely in imbalance, we could apply the same principles. So for a person, when they feel in an imbalance, when one of the doshas is an imbalance or is excessive, then we need to apply the opposite. And also the intensity of the symptoms requires certain intensity of the measures that we're taking.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, as I look at the world as an organism, as a living thing going through some strange sort of process, some people think it, some people think it's an opportunity, some people see it as a curse, whatever. But the reality is that it is intense. So intense times require intense measures. So it is not the time, because we were talking about letting go, and we'll try to define it as much as we can together. But it is, in a sense, it requires you to be even more alert and to intensify, if you want, your self-discipline. It is not a moment when you can lay back and, just enjoy the show. And I'm talking from a spiritual perspective here.
I
So we
understand.
have to be very clear about that. Because you can be, especially the people that are more sensitive, they can be taken by this wave of, we're all plugged into this, collective cloud of emotions and, humanity at large. So you can feel and perceive, and you can take all that on you, and that could reflect even more on your body, and therefore become even more sensitive to viruses, and your immune system can get even, less strong. So I think it requires letting go is in terms of, we'll discuss about it after.
Of course.
But it requires this intensity of practice, intensity of working with your mind. And you can look at it from any perspective that you want, either using prayer, using anything you want. But it requires a constant effort to with your mind. Constant effort working with your mind. Every time there is a thought that comes in and brings you into this negative, that you apply something else. Absolutely. And not only that, you invoke, you call upon, you invite the force of the good. You invite God, if you believe in God. You invite the Holy Spirit, if you believe in Holy Spirit. You invite the consciousness in, you invite the light in. So it requires, I think, the more people do that, the more we can find a certain balance. And thank God some people do. And I saw recently a very interesting documentary on one of the Orthodox, I like to watch Orthodox monks' stories. And it's again about a monk who spent many, many years in the communist prisons. And it was the testimony of a lady who had the chance to meet him. And he said, here talking to some nuns that were in a monastery back then, and pray, because this ensures the world's peace. So we might not believe that, we might take it lightly, but having people somewhere in the world praying, continuously praying, keep aware how much that matters.
Oh gosh, positive energy. So
yeah,
Suzana,
so like clusters of positive energy here and there, even if it's just yourself deciding to go with that. If you feel the need, watching TV all day and being in panic, feeling the fear, decide, okay, I have a choice to make now in my life. We're living the strangest times of our history.
Oh, Susie, your internet is cutting so much.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's like, we are in strange times. I'm picking up gists of it, and 100%, I totally agree with you. And sometimes it's okay, and other times it's cutting. But we are, as you say, as you just said, we're basically we're like a big spider's web of emotions that are just traveling all across the world. And we can spread out that positivity, and we're connecting to everybody else's energies as well. And the more positive that we're bringing out there, we can literally, spread that just as well as the negativity is being spread over us. And exactly, changing your thought patterns, noticing that if something's coming in that is negative, mindfully seeing that and replacing it with a positive thought, and not being, you're the master of your own mind. You are not the servant, and just recognizing that, taking responsibility.
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to say. If you feel like it's hard, it feels like intense, it's not you. That's what I want to make people understand. It's not you. You don't have a problem. We're all into this. This is intense. This is strange. This is weird. There is something going on that goes beyond our perception. We have to be humble enough to recognize that we don't have the answers to everything that is happening. But if we feel it, it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. And in this moment, you can make that choice that you've been waiting for maybe the whole life to make a difference, or to give your life a meaning, or to make sense of, what is this? I'm here, I have a body, I'm alive, I'm breathing. Well, this is it. You decide to become an antenna for whatever you believe in. Whether
I love that.
Whether it's God, you don't have to do anything more than that, but just continuously praying. Special times require for special measures. This is your life to be nice and fluffy and cozy. No, it is what it is. Life has ups and downs, and it goes and it becomes intense, it becomes calm, there's a storm, and then the storm ends. But we're in the storm, you have to, so that you survive, so that you can, become, do your part, whatever that part is.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, and this is what I do, continuously praying, continuously not meditating, I don't have the time for that, but continuously repeating in my mind, continuously.
See, the thing is, I mean, some people obviously aren't religious, but spirituality doesn't have to stem from religion. It can stem from faith in a greater power, or faith in you as a person, because you are part of the universe, which is part of God, which is whatever name you want to put on it. You are so powerful as a human being. And if you can be more of what you want to see in this world, attract it like a magnet, like just giving out more and more and more, then it comes back to you tenfold, and you'll start seeing the positive rather than focusing on what you're giving out. What you give out is so powerful. And there are days that are challenging where everything seems to be like a waterfall at once. Like yesterday, for me, yesterday was just stupid little things, but like loads of challenges that like one after the other. And I'm like, I'm sitting there going, hold on a minute. And, the dog's flying out, running away, and the internet's broken, and the internet guy couldn't fix it. And my studios were full, and like with the people that are in it, and no one could get their internet. And then I still was doing the tests, because I had another test as well with the whole of my household, so to make sure we're all okay for Christmas, because we've been keeping separate, so just to make sure for my mum and dad, and and then we had to do it all online, and it was just challenging. There was one after another thing that just was all at once in the space of about 3 hours. And I just thought, hold on a minute, I'm in a little bit of a whirlwind. I just needed to calm down a bit and just thought, you know what? That will get fixed. That the dog's going to come back. She wants her food. The tests will be done. I can't get it in the post before 5:30 now anyway. So we'll just do it and we'll get it down there. Did it bit by bit, just did what I could do, focused on what I could do, and just, as we say, let it go, because trusted that everything will work out exactly how it's meant to. And so I was proactive, proactive, but also, what's the point in stressing, because there's nothing we can do about it. And then you zoom out. Is it important in 5 years? Is it important in 10 years? And the things that are important in 5 years and 10 years, that's the stuff you have to really do something about. But if you can't control that situation, what can you do to better the situation you're in to make it okay? So you're visualizing a future that is great and stepping into that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Madness.
I think it's all about, it's also about being accepting that you are a human. And the answer is always in the accepting everything that there is. Like accepting your limits as a human, but also accepting the power that is in you or acts through you. And we had that expression, letting go and letting God. in a sense that sometimes we are in the way. Sometimes our mind or the ego, wants to, I am the one who will fix things. I think it is important to realize that there is a force, a greater force out there. And to me, that there is a greater force out there is the fact that I exist. Because there was a time when I wasn't.
Of course.
And now I am. And so I'm coming out of something and I'm going to go back into something. So we have to have that humbleness. I think this letting go comes out of this acknowledging your real nature, which is temporary but permanent.
Oh, I love that.
That you have limits in terms of what you can do physically, but there is no limit in what you can do in connecting to. And I think this is where the letting go is in that flip. And I've noticed that. I've been on a spiritual path for years and years, and I've observed and read from others being on spiritual path, more advanced and more like, inspiring. And I realized that this is the turning point in every person's life, is when when they realize that, the grass grows without you. Yeah. Everything else, I can be removed from here today, just instantly like this, and life will go on.
Yeah, you're right. And we'll just
there is something that is happening anyway. And I think this is the mistake we've done as a human race. We believe that we had to impose the way we thought it was right. And we ignored that strong force behind us that brought this world into existence in the first place, that made everything that exists, every plant, every tree, every insect, every life form on the planet. We didn't make them. No. We try to clone things. We try to insert, to modify them genetically. We think we are the kings of the world. We're not. Mm-hmm. We are part of something greater. So there is a greater force behind. And letting go, to me, in my opinion, is tuning into this greater force in the background. Having that total trust, getting in tune with that infinite power in you and that permanent aspects of you, and letting that lead you there where it needs to be led. Because at the end, we are all mortals. Yeah. We all be, God forbid, at a certain point, probably sick of something. Some lucky ones will die in the sleep, but most of us will get sick of something and just leave this body, and that's what it is. Be humble enough to recognize that disease and death is part of the process. Yeah. And stop freaking out about, we came far in terms of, medicine and science. And so, of course, we try to protect life to the maximum. And now we're thinking of being connected to a computer and living forever. Sorry, I prefer to go the old-fashioned way. Yeah. Just go and continue life in a different dimension. Ashes to without being hooked to a computer, for God's sake. That would be torture for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So this is letting go. Letting go is tuning into something greater. Realize that you are mortal, you can get sick, you can die, but you're part of this fantastic journey. Yeah. We are alive. Mm-hmm.
We are. We're gifted.
It's just the existence itself, the fact that I am in a body, it's miraculous to me. And when we move away from that, and when we move away from that tenderness of being in touch with the source, it's like if you disconnecting from your parents, no?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very beautiful. That's it. Oh, you say it beautifully and eloquently.
What do you think? What's letting go to you then? Let's define letting go, and then we just talk about how we can do it, like more concretely speaking.
You made me fall in love with you even more.
Oh, I'm happy.
You worded it perfectly. It is letting go, is trusting that we are here for a limited amount of time, that the material things around us are really not important. Okay, they may make our time on the planet more comfortable, and maybe having goals to reach certain things in our lives, that's very important too, because it gives us a meaning and a purpose. But letting go on a greater level is accepting that, what it's accepting that we really don't have any control of anything that's really important. It really is.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the big zoomed out level. That is it. What you said was perfectly put. I mean, it was wonderful. Letting go of, if you zoom in, letting go of things in life, the challenges that we're facing, and the things that we're going through on a smaller level. There are different ways you can cope with that, and different ways you can change your perspective, and you know, learning new things, new skills, replacing your thoughts, any negativity, noticing your language if it's coming out negative, to try and reframe it into a positive light. There's different things you can do to let go and realize that you've been through tough patches before, and that you've got through them, and you're here now, and that's just a celebration that you are a powerful, empowered human being that has been through stuff before and has arrived, you know, and you're here. So, you know, there's different ways that you can let go, because letting go is a state of mind. It's a state of mind.
Exactly. It's a state of mind. It's an attitude. It's not stop doing things. It's how you feel about that. It's how you approach it.
And the magnet, what we attract, you know, if we're going to give out a magnet that's going to be attracting negativity, you're going to stub your toe, you're going to smash your car up in Tesco's car park, you're going to, you know, the electrics are going to go wrong, the roof's going to leak, the flipping floor's going to crumble away, whatever it may be. There's going to be little things that will just niggle the hell out of you. But if you look at it, it's the way that I've got a new roof now that's going to keep me for 50 years without rain. Oh, my floor's crumbling away. It was about time I needed to change that. Now I can have what I really wanted down on my floor, you know, or I can be creative. And what can I do with that now that this is gone? That's the old's gone away. What can I replace it with? And it's the same with your thoughts. It's the same with the things around you. And is it really important? And giving out love to those things, the more love you give out, the more positivity you give out, and the challenges that you face, and you kind of like throw love at them rather than pain, you know, that's what comes back.
Yeah, but see, that's, to me, that is possible. That's coming from observing myself and working with others. That is possible only when you connect.
Yeah, connect to nature.
When you feel worried, when you are in pain, when you are sick, like these days when you've been so preoccupied about your health, right? It's very hard to project love out there, right?
Flipping hell, yeah, it is.
So the only way is to use your abilities as a human being, because you have the ability. You have, first of all, you have the choice, and we know free will and choice. You have discernment. You have the ability to, and the freedom to choose to do or not to do something. And even this is what spiritual training is about. This is mastering yourself is about. And this is why we train in a small swimming pool, so that we can swim into the sea afterwards. And if you don't have this training, of course, it's difficult. But if you've been doing something all your life until now, people listening now might have some spiritual practice going on. They might have done some meditation before. They might have done some mantra before, or they might have done some spiritual work on themselves. So this is something that you know, and apply it and use it. And sometimes when nothing else works, you can use the body. The body and the position of the body is very important. When you feel like you're crooked and, like worried, just expand yourself a bit and just use the body and affirm it.
Yeah.
When they come and see me, they don't believe in that. They don't believe that it's that simple, but it is that simple.
It's true.
So you feel like you are overwhelmed by worry and fear. Just do this and see what happens. They say, I choose to connect with whatever you believe in, with God, with the universal flow, the Holy Spirit, the consciousness. I let it come through me and become an antenna for this love.
Yeah, you're physically transforming from this into this. It's like
when nothing else works with your mind, body helps a lot. Using the body, because the body is an antenna, the body is an instrument.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So whatever you do with your body will reflect on your mind and on your attitude. Sometimes it works the other way around. Sometimes you can use your mind and focus and, calm your mind and body. But sometimes when it's too much, use the body instead and go the other way around. And physically stand up and become an antenna. Take the position that an antenna looks like to you and stay like this, or just, like open your hands and arms and choose to receive it.
Like they do in church. They do that in church, don't they? They always they reach up and get that flow. Your whole physicality is just stretching and changing.
Exactly.
Changing patterns.
Changing the pattern using the physical body. Or if you want to, for instance, to release, you feel like you're too much charged with negativity, then there is, the yoga pose of the child. This is also a prayer. Sorry, I keep switching into French. I've been speaking French lately. Bending over and just bowing, or just putting your forehead to the ground, the child pose in yoga. It's a position where you're just releasing all the negativity and releasing it into the ground and bowing in front of a greater power. So there's two ways to do it. But use the body. Don't just stay there and do nothing about it. That's what I mean. Because when you do nothing about it, you're being played by patterns. And the negativity and all the not good, because I don't want to use any bad word, but the things that are less than good in our lives is because they are in the patterns. They are mechanical, they're automatic, they're not into the awareness of the presence of the moment. So this is what it's important to do. It's in the action, and letting go, it's in the mind. The action is important with that thought in mind that I release. To me, this is what letting go is,
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Or you can use, like using NLP, we can use, something. I was working yesterday with a client who came to see me. He was going through some interesting appetite imbalances. He's having this burning sensation through his nerves, and doctors don't find what it is. So while doing the treatments with him, I asked him to imagine. I said, what would be the source for you? And he said, it's a sun. And I said, okay, so and it's burning. I said, okay, let's work with the opposite. It's tingling and it's burning. So it must be something that is refreshing and it's calming and English now, grounding and calming. Yeah, because it's tingling and agitated and hot. So it's going to be something cooling and calming.
Yeah.
I said, okay, what will be the color for that? He said, well, it's a sort of a light blue. And I said, okay, can you imagine now a light blue sun emanating this light? So can you see now this light as a fluid rather than just a light? It's something that is more material that comes into you and permeates your whole body. So this type of exercise you can also do when we go to bed, when we wake up in the morning, rather than, oh my goodness, all this virus, imagine the source as it looks to you. How do you visualize your source? As a picture that you have for the source.
Funny enough, you should say that. But last night, Ethan, when he was in bed, he was having a preteen moment, as they do, and he was having some kind of a meltdown. Well, just being a bit bolshy. Let's say it like that.
Okay.
A bit bolshy, and he said something that upset me. So I kind of took 5. I said, look, you think about what you've just said. He goes, oh, I didn't mean it. I said, no, I know you didn't. I said, but words can scald, And I said, I want you to just think about it. And when you're ready to come in and, see me. Anyway, so he came in and he gave me a message. I'm so sorry. He goes, I was being too much. He goes, it was too much. I said, no, I know you were. I said, it's not okay, but I accept your apology. Because what he said was just quite nasty to me. I can't remember what it was, but it was just being
good. You don't remember.
Yeah, no, I know. It wasn't important. It wasn't important. So anyway, I said, do you want me to tuck you into bed now? He goes, yeah. So I went into his room and I tucked him in, and he goes, what did he say? He goes, what if we can't spend Christmas together? Because we did our tests yesterday. I said, what if we can't spend Christmas? I said, if we can't spend Christmas together, I said, it's a day. I said, you'll still, have Christmas Day. I said, but we'll make it a few days later, or a week later, or a month later, whatever it is. It's just a day, but we'll be together. And I said, that's not important. He goes, my tonsils, he said, they're so big, they feel like they're on fire. You just drop your things again. He goes, they feel like they're on fire. They're so big, because he was crying. He started crying. Yeah. I said, well, what color are they? And he goes, red. And I said, oh, well, what colour would you like them to be? And he goes, white. I said, okay. I said, so what if you want them to be white? I said, how about water? I said, is water kind of like white? And he goes, yeah. And I said, so can you just imagine just having water cool? Now, firstly, I said ice. That's what I said. I said ice first. Yeah. I said, imagine there's ice on your tonsils. And like that. He goes, no, because they'll freeze off, he says. So I said, okay, no, you're right. I said, no, you're right, because ice would be too cold, wouldn't it? I said, how about water? I said, imagine that water swishing down your tonsils, nice and cooling. I said, and I was just going into it. I said, how does that feel? He goes, Betty, he goes, I need a drink. He got his water, he was drinking. I said, how's that feel? He goes, I feel better, Mummy. I was like, good. I said, do you want to go to sleep now? He goes, yeah, thank you, Mummy, night night.
I know it always works, this type of inner work, and this is where we're using the free will, and we're being more like in tune with our human nature and our abilities. We're not giving up, and this is what I keep telling because my clients, because we're living in this world where everything has to be done instantly and fast because we have technology. It's fast, but there are certain things that in nature take time, such as a pregnancy for 9 months. Never touch that and let it be as it is, because we don't want to have a baby faster. Like I think it's okay to be like that. There's certain things that take the time that it take, and there are certain imbalances that require more time. And in my philosophy, I always say in my own practice and with my clients, do it until it changes.
Yeah.
So if you have a bad state, if you're experiencing this fear and you have repeated your mantra or your prayer, it didn't work, well, do it, repeat it until it changes.
Yeah.
Because this is when you're exercising the mastery of being a human. And I think this is a time that is that the times are requiring us to do that. And if at an individual level, all these tests that life is putting us through is helping us expanding into more capacities, because this is what it is. We're here to expand our awareness, and awareness and capacities are being developed through practice and experience. You have no experience, you'll never go on that bike to ride it. You'll never ride it. You'll never know how to, even if you read about it, hear about it, listen to others that have done it before. Until you ride the damn bike and fall a few times, you will never be able to really do it.
That's right.
And I think at an individual level, all these things that we're being through, all these tests, all these difficulties, these challenges, it is pushing us to expand into even more and develop certain qualities, develop certain abilities as human beings, even powers, but not in that sense, I want to be powerful and dominate the world. Powers in terms of honoring who you are, for God's sake. It can change things. And even in the Bible, they say if you have the faith as a little grain, you could move mountains. So if it doesn't change by doing that position once, do it 10 times, do it 100 times, do it 1,000 times until it changes.
Yeah.
Because we are all responsible now for what is going on. I'm having it. You and I do it, and then if 10 people do it, and then 1,000 people do it, in whatever way we think it is, just invoking that and choosing not to tune into this cloud that is covering the world now. Yeah. Then we can maybe stop certain things from happening that are kind of right next corner. So, we're talking a little bit offline earlier, and I think it's important that we realize that we are at a crossroad, that we need to, because we have children, that we need to be able to explain later on why certain things happen or
All I'd
didn't.
say is you don't have to be part of the crowd. You can step outside, look at the crowd like this, be on the outside and think, what can I do about it myself for
Yes.
my life? And you don't have to be part of the whirlwind. You can step outside that whirlwind because it's calm outside. And when you start looking into things that you can do rather than things that you're not allowed to do, or the things that we have no control over, we are in a position that we can empower ourselves, right from health to wealth to spirituality, to people that we surround ourselves with, and to what we choose, what we watch, where we live, who we live with, the things that we have in our life, the clutter, all the clarity, all of these things. Once you step out of that whirlwind and you just kind of like breathe and kind of think, what's important? What can I actually do about it to change the situation I'm in to feel better? Once you do that and you take responsibility and you start taking that bit of control, there are things out there that we can all do to empower who we are and ourselves and the people that we love. But you can't make someone else. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So you can tell people what you've discovered, but it's up to them if they want to do it. That's not for you. You can just spread what you believe, what you truly believe, and what you're doing for yourself, but you can't make others do the same thing. So, and that's all we can.
That's part of letting go as well, because when you invite this power, when you invite this light to come down through you and you become an instrument for that light, then you trust enough to do what it needs to do, and you just trust that it will work out through you the best way. That's where you're letting go.
Yeah, that's right. Step outside. It's nice outside. It might be comfortable in the box. You may know your box and it might be nice and dark and quiet and you can think and you're like this. If you step outside, what could you find? Maybe there's a whole world of things you can discover. But change is scary. Change can be scary, but change is so important. And change is life, because we change. We're born and we change into toddlers, into, young adults, into teens, into older people. We are change. We are change. So to fear change is to fear ourselves. So it's empowering just to go, I embrace every change, health, wealth, myself, external, everything around me. I trust it because I trust it's meant my life is going to do the best for me. I'm going to do the best for me. And I trust myself. That's it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah.
Sure. I think there's another aspect into it. When you look at the life of masters and spiritual people that inspired and changed the world and how they change our lives through their wisdom and faith, you realize that they all surrender to something greater and they all say the same. It's not about you. You see, the more you're fighting for yourself, the more you're in the ego and the more you're kind of disconnect. When you realize that it's not about you, and that you are here for a greater purpose, and then you can choose these things not for your little life, but for humanity at large, and for people being able to live freely, and for people being able to enjoy their lives and feel the true joy in their hearts, and you get a different type of motivation, Whenever we are playing this victim, and I've been through very difficult months.
Yeah, you have.
And there was a lot of struggle in there, and I've been through a sort of a purge and spiritual process because I allowed it to become that. But even death, I think death is the highest form of spiritual
release,
expansion. Everything. We can't separate the world in 2, in 3, in 5, in 6. They're different parts as they are different organs in the body, but doing different things, but they're interconnected and they form one organism. We can't separate the world in pieces. We can't separate reality in pieces. Life and death. This is the whole process, and everything in it is magical, unless we are interfering with our technology and with our stupidity, with our egoism, whether with our littleness and poor me attitude.
Yeah.
If you allow it to be, look around you, just go outside and look at the tree and look at a bird and look at whatever is there in your area, and according to the season, look at the snow if that's what it is. Look how perfect it is.
Yep.
So connect. If nothing else inspires you, I was talking to my client yesterday. I don't believe in anything. I said I like nature. Well, connect to nature. If nothing else inspires you, I'm pretty sure that when you go somewhere out there and you look at the sea, when you look at a lake, when you look at a forest, you can't miss it. It's there. It's obvious. It vibrates. This is the reality of who we are. And this is what you should be doing. No?
I want to be with you in the mountains somewhere.
Oh my goodness. I miss that. I would love to go now.
I swear. That would be beautiful. One day, Susie.
Yeah, we'll do that. And you know where. I won't say where, but I'll take you there. And so this is what means being a human. Are you going to feel like, oh my God, it's about me and look at my life, I'm losing this? Or you say, okay, no, I am choosing to do something with my life, because you're going to go one day anyway. And when you look back, what really mattered. Mm-hmm. And I had written here another point that I wanted to mention. It's about the qualities, because we talked about the body posture that you can use.
Yeah.
We talked about using mantras or prayer. We talked about, what did you mention earlier? You mentioned something earlier. It skips my mind now. Breathing, going to nature, inspired from nature, but also the sun, the visualization that we use, the NLP technique. Yeah. But it's also the quality. And I was talking to my client yesterday, because his imbalance, the physical challenge that he's going through, was making him feel powerless. And with no resources. So I asked him, what would be the quality that you would require to, you would need now in order to counterbalance that? And he couldn't say. And I let him reflect on that. So what would be in your case? Because for me it's different, for you it's different. In this particular weird climate that we're in, what is that quality that you can start to awaken in you? Is it courage? Is it determination? Is it, I don't know, letting go? What is that particular quality that your soul maybe has come on this planet to develop in the first place?
Yeah.
There is something more, rather than, like thinking, how can I make more money and how can I, of course this is important, but it starts from this. This is what is important to your heart and soul. What is that quality that will enable you to go through this, not necessarily happily, because maybe it's not a moment to be happy. There are moments when it's time to be happy. And there's moments where you just have to be alert and in action, like when it was with my daughter. I couldn't be happy, no matter how much I tried. You can't be happy when your child is suffering. No. But you can be in a certain way, which is alert, which is stay connected, which is be kind and loving, which is praying, and that's what you do. So maybe this is not a time when you should be feeling happy and at ease. Maybe it is a time that is shaking us from within.
Yeah, proactive.
Proactive, yeah. So what is that quality that will enable you to go through this being more useful to everybody else rather than bringing everybody else down?
It's like, what can you give? What more can you give out that you'd like to receive back? That's it. It's like, I've got doorbells going off left, right, and centre. Oh dear. No, that's exactly right. And you did.
What do you think, Danielle, for you, for instance?
For me,
what do you think this, for you personally, this whole crazy thing, what is the quality that you feel that started to develop within you? Because you are positive, you are just such a source of love, you're so resilient. But there's something else that happens now to you that you start expressing now as a quality of being that wasn't there before all this happened. What would that be?
For me, it's the fact that I don't have to be everything all the time. I can just be. And it's,
how would you call that quality so other people listening can refer to?
It's a comfortableness of being who I am, and no, there's no mask. That's a phrase, isn't it? There's no, I may be wearing a mask, but I have no mask.
See, it's always in the opposites. So what is actually the metaphor of this mask thing? Is no mask. Here you go, bingo, we got the answer. Wow, you're brilliant.
Right there, innit? Right there. The thing is, no masks. I mean, it's a weird old world at the moment. It's a beautiful world and a weird one. But do you know what? Just fall in love. I have to say, fall in love with who you are, because that is your legacy. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many flipping cars you've got, how big your house is, how many kids you've had or not had, how many designer handbags or shoes or flipping everything around you that's designed. It just doesn't matter. All that matters is, do you love who you are? And if you don't love who you are, what is it that you don't love about yourself? And when did that become a problem? Because when you fix, or it's not even fix, when you look back on that perspective of when these things changed for you, that is the point that you can go back to and just rejig it in your brain, so that you don't have to be trapped by what others think. I don't care what others think. I couldn't care less. I don't care if people like me. I don't care if people hate me. I actually don't care. All I care about is the people that want to learn from me, or the people that I can teach from, and what I can give out. If people want to be part of that, I will give everything to them. I'll give everything. But the people that don't want that, that's okay. That's actually okay. And it's not important. It's not important to me. And I don't need to try and impress everybody. I don't care. I want to look in the mirror. I want to get up in the morning. I want to look.
What will be the quality? What will be the quality? Let's put a name on that.
Authenticness. Just knowing that on a daily basis, you can make some change to make your world a little bit better of a place, and help others to make their worlds a little bit better too. Just giving love. That's it. It comes down to love, isn't it? It comes down to, what can you give? That's it. And not being worried about being judged, because really the only judge at the end of it is ourselves, because people's chit wrapping newspaper is old news. So what's news today for everyone to be talking about will end up in the flipping bin the next day. So that is just not important. It's just not important. And all that's important is how you're judging yourself, because we can be our own best friends, or we can be our own worst enemies. Right. And that choice is all down to us to make. So choose the right one. Be your best friend. Start loving yourself. What advice would you tell your best friend? Start from there. Oh God, I could just go on with that for ages.
Yeah, I can feel that. Well, you're special.
You are,
because you have that love inside you, and you have that power that
Do you know what? I've just lived a lot of things. I've lived through a lot of things. I know I've lived
And
a lot
that's
of
what
life.
made you stronger, no?
Yeah, it made.
Yeah, that's exactly. And that's what I asked also my client yesterday, because he was so confused. He couldn't say, see how hard it is. How can we reach a better state of mind when we have even no clue what we should be feeling instead? We don't even ask the question, you know? So feeling hopeless and helpless in front of a certain symptoms, which are not, they are annoying, but they're not like dramatic. It's not even a disease that is discovered by the doctor. So it's still in that phase where it can be fixed easily.
Yeah.
And so when he couldn't answer the question, so what's the quality that if we apply to the state of helplessness, neutralized, and he couldn't even come up with the word power. You know, it's amazing how, you know, we are having no training into playing with these opposites. But what was I going to say? Yeah, and then I asked him, I said, okay, if you don't have an answer right away, think like this. Later on in life, because he has a son, when you're going to be gone and your son is going to talk about you to his children, what would you like your son to tell about you when you dealt with this situation, with this health problem? You would like him to tell them, hey, listen, my father had this problem and he freaked out and he got depressed. Or
Yeah,
you want him to say, listen, my dad had this weird thing, but you know what? Oh my goodness. He was so strong. He didn't even show it. He didn't want to know that we have it. He dealt with it his way. He endured it. He transformed it. He grew through it. So it's the same thing we can ask ourselves. What we want our children to tell about us today or in the future, deal with this. Did we freak out? Did we kill each other? We started to create a big chaos and nonsense. Or we made sure that we understood what type of world we wanted with more like expanded awareness and expanded capacities.
Yeah.
And that our children look back at this time and say, boy, they did it. They didn't let that happen. This is what motivates me, because it's not about me. I'm gone. I'm gone in a few more, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years. I'm gone.
60,
but there is life. For some reason, you know, humans have this ability, and I find that beautiful. It's touching me to the core. When I see people giving their lives for certain ideals, when people die for freedom, when people die for other people's freedom, when people dare to endure all kind of crazy that the human mind, all these weird tendencies and communism and fascism, and endure that with dignity.
People are incredible.
And just because we believe that human race is important, because we know that life as human being is important, and we'll be willing to die to know that humanity continues. I mean, have we become vegetables because we watch too much TVs, or because we're too much on social medias, or are we real human beings connected with nature and knowing who we are and what we stand for here? Or just like, oh, okay,
empowerment.
I'm waiting for a vaccine, or for somebody to tell me, okay, vaccinate yourself if you think it's important. I'm not talking about that, but know what you're here for. We're human beings. It's not nothing. It's life itself.
Precious gift.
Jesus. Yeah, that's the moment for Jesus. That's the Jesus moment.
Right. On that note, Susie, I'll thank you for being. You are the most.
I'm sorry I talked too much, but I felt like there was something coming through. I had to say.
Oh no! I love. Do you know what, that blimmin' internet just kept cutting out and stuff, but I got most of it. It's a shame. Flipping on the internet, but we got most of it.
Okay, good.
I love you, and this is just a sending of love on a Friday to everybody watching this. Wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, empowerment, self-love, love out there. And I'm going to end with a quote which I found by Ajay Chah. So, and it's, if you let go a little, you'll have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you'll have a lot of peace. I wish you all peace. Peace out. Right, I'm going to end the live. Love you all. Hold on.
Bye, everyone.